Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is MD Saiful Islam and assistant teacher of renowned high school of Naugan district of Bangladesh and founder of Saiful English Academy. And you are most welcome in my Saiful English Academy in Children's. Hope that you are very fine and you are connected with me to watch my video classes. Of course, you know that my children various kinds of video classes already uploaded in my YouTube channels. I hope that you watched my previous classes beautifully, smartly and nicely. And with the reference of my previous classes, today's class, I have been present in front of you with a new class named relative pronoun versus relative adjective. So my dear learners, now let's take a look at the board and try to understand. At first, I want to clarify the definition of relative pronoun. Of course, you had told about the definition of relative pronoun in my previous classes. Okay, my dear learners, but I am trying to show you about definition of relative pronoun for the better understanding of this class. My dear learners, we are told that, my dear learners, in my previous classes, the pronoun that is replaced after previously mentioned noun or a pronoun and joins two sentences is called relative pronoun. Called relative pronoun. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, and then I'm trying to show you about the definition of relative adjective. Relative adjective. We are told that, my dear learners, in my previous classes, when relative pronoun is replaced before a noun and acts like an adjective. Acts like an adjective. It is called a relative adjective. It is called relative adjective. Hope that you have understood clearly, my dear learners. But today's class, I'm trying to show you about relative pronoun versus relative adjective. Relative adjective. So, my dear learners, look at the board and try to understand. My dear learners, similarities. At first, I want to tell you about similarity. Similarity between them. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, both relative pronoun and relative adjective both used middle of the statement. Okay, my dear learners, and another similarity between them, both relative pronoun and relative adjective, of course, is formed with word. Okay, my dear learners, that you have understood clearly. But my question to you, my dear learners, what's the dissimilarity between them? What's the dissimilarity between them? Dissimilarity between them. That means, how can you identify a relative pronoun or a relative adjective? My dear learners, for this, with this reference, I have written 3 examples in the board. My dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. You will have to mind that, my dear learners, you may note in your exercise box, if you notice or say in the middle of a statement, W is word and is replaced after previously mentioned noun. Of course, these kinds of noun is called antecedent. Okay, my dear learners, in this sense, if you can notice in the middle of any statement or sentence such kinds of W word, you can call relative pronoun. But if you notice or if you say any WS word is used before a noun, that is such kinds of W is word, of course, relative adjective. Okay, my dear learners, now I'm trying to make you understand about this, to clarify about the problem or complexity between them, relative pronoun or relative adjective. First example I have written, my dear learners, this is the shirt which I wanted. My dear learners, underlined which, and before which is used after a noun, noun. But on the contrary, my dear learners, another example, Rohim asked me which shirt I liked. My dear learners, in this sentence, which is used before a noun, before a noun. Okay, my dear learners, but if I ask you what categories of parts of is which in both two sentences, relative pronoun or relative adjective, I assure that my dear learners of that you will be able to reply my questions, but I want to add something here, my dear learners. If which is used after a noun, of course we can consider relative pronoun, and if which is replaced before a noun, before a noun, of course relative adjective that you have understood. My dear learners, next example, this is the pen that I bought. Next, on the contrary, next example, Korim gave me that fan I wanted. My dear learners, try to notice and try to see that, my dear learners, that word is used in this sentence before a noun, before a noun. But in this sentence, that is used after a previously mentioned noun. Okay, my dear learners, now my question to you, what categories of parts of is relative pronoun or relative adjective in this two statement that? Of course, I know that you'll be able to reply my questions, but I want to add something here. My dear learners, that if that is used after a noun, of course, relative pronoun, and if that is used before a noun, of course, relative adjective of that you have understood clearly. Last example, my dear learners, father gave me a book what I wanted. But another example, father asked me what book I wanted. Try to notice and take a look at the word, my dear learners. In this sentence, what is used after a noun, but in this sentence, what is used before a noun? Before a noun, my dear learners, of that you have understood clearly. So, my dear learners, if I can suggest to you, my dear learners, if what is used after a noun, of course, a relative pronoun, and if what is used before a noun, of course, a relative adjective of that you have understood clearly, my dear learners. I don't want to learn in today's class, but I want to share something with you, my dear learners, before finishing today's class. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, I'm a new teacher or a new teacher in YouTube channels, and though I'm Bangladeshi by birth, but I'm trying to use English conversation at the time of my making a various kinds of my video classes. So, my dear learners, if you notice any faults or mistakes in the middle of my video classes, please excuse me and pray to all my channel so that I can help you, I can serve you, I can cover you in this way through my video class throughout my life. So, my dear learners, no more today. Come to see you again with a new version and a new class. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.